It's been a long time since Konami has published a game that has had any relevance. The once big giant in the gaming world has been relegated to meme status as they put their focus and efforts into pachinko machines, seeming to completely abandon the franchises that made them great, such as Castlevania, Contra, Silent Hill, and Metal Gear, and instead focusing on things to make them a quick buck. Sure, they showed some love this last year by releasing the Castlevania Advance Collection, but that release felt so lackluster that I didn't even bother to cover it after playing it. So imagine my surprise when they released a sequel to a very old game that originally released on the NES in Japan only. GetsuFumaDen Undying Moon, which is a mouthful so I will just call it Undying Moon from this point forward, is a hack and slash roguelike Metroidvania style game which is also known as a Roguevania. This little gem was actually not developed by Konami, but instead by an indie developer called Guru Guru, to which Undying Moon seems to be their only game credit. So let's give them credit where credit is due. As mentioned, Undying Moon is a side-scrolling hack and slash Roguevania, meaning it plays like a combination of Symphony of the Night and Hades. As you progress through each stage, you gather new weapons and sub-weapons, and each weapon has unlocks that if you open their slot, you can activate them to give that weapon attack bonuses or other effects, such as fire or bleed. Just remember though, you die, you restart, and you will die. A lot. And this is as good a time as any to go ahead and discuss those weapons, as these have a massive impact in your playthrough. Like most games of its kind, you start with a sword. And like most other games, a sword is a very balanced weapon, able to attack quickly and have good damage. It does a good job of helping you get used to the combat. Dual blades are my personal favorite, as they sacrifice high damage for fast attacks and high combos. Combos are an important mechanic, but we will get there. Spears are far-reaching and do more damage than swords, but are also a little slower. Followed by chains, which are slow as well, requiring a long attack animation. Clubs are powerful weapons, but the slowest in the game, while gauntlets are the fastest, but do the least amount of damage. There are also a variety of sub-weapons, each with varying degrees of damage and ammo. There are bow and arrows, bombs, kunai, spike traps, guns, and magic rings, so getting sub-weapons to fit your playstyle is a must. Personally, I like quick kunais and bombs. Though initially you start with one character, you are able to unlock a second female character later. And while they are relatively the same, there are slight differences between them. The male character has more health and does slightly more damage, with his skill tree reflecting just that. And the female character favors speed and agility. Combat is a mix of RNG and timing. The reason I say RNG is because you can go an entire run and not get a favorable weapon. And timing is specifically for the bosses. Bosses have certain attacks they cycle through, but not in any particular order. And some bosses you can actually just power through, while others might take a little more caution, especially on higher difficulties. Your skill trees will be crucial to your progression, along with opening the weapon slots. Skill trees give your characters permanent upgrades to their health, damage output, and more. And at the end of each stage, you are able to train to improve these. Weapon slots are opened by collecting materials in the stages. And once opened, you can improve your weapon stats using souls that you find throughout. The slot unlocks are permanent, but the upgrades are not. As mentioned before, combos are important. The higher your combo count without taking damage, the quicker you enter what's called a demon transformation. The demon transformations increase your movement speed and damage output, but the transformation only lasts a certain period of time, and the longer you go without doing damage, the quicker you revert back. Doing higher combos on enemies will also allow your character to perform a finishing move. This finishing attack is automatically locked to your basic attack and will kill the enemy that you are attacking. All other enemies around will be knocked back. On bosses, this finishing attack usually doesn't kill the boss, but it will do massive damage. I absolutely love the art style of this game. It reminds me of games like Okami and Odin Sphere. The use of this kind of art style makes the visuals pop with a nice blend of bright colors like reds, blues, and yellows. The background of the stages feel just as alive as the enemies do in the foreground. But Undying Moon isn't all bells and whistles, however. The music, for example, is pretty uninspiring, feeling more like background ambient music, unlike the unforgettable soundtrack that you have in Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And while the game has a lot of resemblance to Metroidvania style games, it is important to remember that it is not. And if you don't enjoy games such as Hades or Returnal and get easily frustrated, then this game's not for you. With limited ways to heal and constant fights, this game can be unforgiving to mistakes. Honestly though, Undying Moon is a very welcome surprise, especially in this Konami-less world. Though I thoroughly enjoy this game, recommending it is difficult because of the roguelike aspect. But if the Metroidvania parts appeal to you, then you should give this a try. And thanks for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, leave a like and a comment down below. And until next time, guys, happy gaming.